Okay, so this is the next video on manifestation, following up from the third eye thing. I'll talk more about the third eye and I'll talk more about the manifestation. You use your third eye as your third eye as the organ you use to see into the mental realm, to see what you can imagine. You also use it to see into the spirit world, so that's where you experience dreams from. Let's talk about manifestation. Because your third eye is what you use to manifest something. Like if you want food, you manifest food by thinking of it, and then you acquire it through whatever means, like cooking it, delivering it, whatever. Instead of that kind of manifestation, let's talk about the world around you and manifestation. Everything you do is a consequence of manifestation. From as simple as sticking your hand in a fire, that's a 1 second consequence of manifestation, or a decision that you made a few years ago. Even you coming across this video is based on manifesting. You're probably wondering about manifestation, that's why you're watching this video. But in terms of that, like, the world around us is an illusion. It's an illusion in such a sense that, like, everything you see physically is just the simulations, but it's more like your beamed signals to interpret the world the way that you're seeing it. So there's a glass in my hand. It's more like the universe is suggesting to me that in this exact space that the glass occupies, I should believe that there is an object that is translucent. It's as heavy as its weight and whatever. And if you allow your senses to believe it, then you do. When you do, so there's that kind of manifestation. Then there's manifestation by willing it into existence, where you use your actual third eye. If you want to manifest, you need crystals. I don't even think I have a crystal on me, do I? Yeah, I got a crystal. Here's a crystal. Yeah, and it's crystals have a very interesting property. Here's a crystal. Here's a crystal. So when you use crystals, you usually sharpen them to a point and you point them in the form of directing your energy and intention to what you would like to manifest. But that's for ritual for later on. Crystals have an interesting property. If you apply electricity to it, this crystal will expand, then it will contract. So it will get longer and thinner, then it will get shorter and fatter. And it will do it quickly, back and forth, back and forth. If you don't apply electricity and you squeeze it so it gets shorter, then it gets longer, it will generate electricity. So it goes backwards. This effect is known as piezoelectric, and that when you want to manifest, crystals are very integral. If you don't have a crystal, that's your own problem, and it stands to reason that you should go and get a crystal. But the thing is that your actual human body works as a crystal, and that is such a long explanation that I would make this video like way longer than it is. The important part is that your third eye also acts as a crystal, and as it acts as a crystal, it transmits energy, so signals, and it also receives signals. When I say transmit signals, you can send a thought to someone, you can receive a thought from someone. If you send a thought to someone, that person receives the thought, and if they receive the thought, I was just thinking of that person, and then you'll probably message them as well. And then that leads into synchronicity, because you thought of them and you manifested that person into your life, as simple as them messaging you or you messaging them. That crystal in your mind, it's not even, there's a thing, because it's not an actual direct crystal that looks like this, especially when the third eye is a type of eye in itself. It's more so that in your third eye, there's fluid, and in that fluid is tiny, tiny, tiny crystals. And those crystals are surrounded by fluid, and there is electricity in our bodies. The electricity in our body is definitely present in the actual fluid surrounding your third eye, and that stimulates the crystals to vibrate. And the moment I mention vibration, now we're talking about frequency, we're talking about, and I don't know, frequency, vibration, again, consciousness. And that consciousness is attuned to vibration. So the higher your consciousness, the higher your vibration as a whole. When you meet someone and their consciousness is low versus your consciousness being higher, the difference between it is bad vibrations, which we usually just say bad vibes. And you take a bad feeling to them just because the difference in frequency. If you Yeah, as this crystal vibrates, it ends up manifesting what you want more and more because you're giving more thought to it, more form to it, more intention, and more consciousness to it. And as you're aware of it in your mind, as you see it more in your mind, you end up, what do you end up doing? You end up coming across strange synchronicities that almost confirm that what you want is coming, and that as it comes, eventually it does well into existence. And the more efficient you can do this, the more you're actually in the act of magic. So if I give you another example, let me see. If you can ever, and here's the thing about manifestation, because everyone lives in their own universe as well. So let's say in this room, this whole room here, I'm manifesting it. It's my own room. I'm manifesting it in the sense that I manifest the space around it. I believe, based on what the light tells me, the dimensions of the room, I believe the room to be of a certain size, of a certain quality, of a certain this and that and that. If someone else is in the room as well, they believe this room to be almost exactly the same. The almost part, the difference, even if it's like a 1% difference, that difference is their own version of the reality that we live in. The simple fact that they have their own world, even though me and them share the same space, is probably the biggest proof of manifestation, because when you and someone are in a shared space, you end up having what is in front of you is a sum total of your manifestation. But it's never actually the real thing. So if me and someone else is in this room, it's me and my version of that person. It's that person and their version of me. Then it's this version of this room from my perspective and their version of the room. So there's 2 rooms and there's 4 different people because of the actual perspective shift. And it's things like this that lead to people never actually knowing the real you, because everyone sees a different version of you. So when you want to manifest, it helps to manifest in different perspectives as well. But in terms of saying that you can see the world around you in its more formula sense if you reach a certain level of detachment. And they managed to show this in the Matrix, where he was staring at the spoon and the spoon started to bend. And when it bent because it was losing its form, because it's been what's the name? He's like detaching more from his senses, so he knows that there's essentially nothing in front of him because it's all just a simulation. But that is slightly another different video for another day. Hold up. Yeah, essentially it takes energy and force to make something manifest. People, and you need to do this through the senses as well. So this is the reason why people have things like incense stirring rituals, music to stimulate your ears, so the incense stimulates your nose. What you would say would stimulate your mental, your verbal region. So that's already 3 senses. They would usually have some kind of physical ritual as well that would stimulate the touch as well. There's one more. And I'm pretty sure they would do something to stimulate the vision in terms of the actual cast, like words that they're casting or the spells. When you do manifest something, whether you do actual magic or not, you know that what you are manifesting is coming to you if you start to see synchronicity. So if you start to see keywords that point to what you want, it's on its way. If you see, what else? If you see angel numbers, which are a different video for another day, they also mean something. And the angel numbers is the best way to just like show you in a sense of like, there are entities that have transcended reality, so they don't really exist in physical form. So they live in a fashion that like, as they live outside the time, they can simply point, they'll just wait till whenever you see a certain number and encode that number with the meaning of, hey, this is what's going to happen to you. Because how often do you see 3 threes if you didn't actually come up with a concept of numbers? You can see 3 objects, you wouldn't think that's got anything to do with synchronicity. Humans have to have made the concept of numbers for it to be a thing that you've seen a certain number multiple times, that it means, you know, something is on its way. Yeah, I suppose. And then I would also say that writing when you're manifesting helps a lot, because you are casting the spell of what you want into existence. The thing is that if you write, there's more efficient ways to write. So if you write in English, that's one way. If you write backwards, That's a better way, considering the fact that like everything in this world is backwards and reversed for the sake of limiting knowledge. If you write not this way, if you write this way, so if you write right to left, as Arab and Hebrew people do, that is more known as the original form of writing. Then I suppose the language that you write in matters as well, and that if you write in the correct language or you use the correct symbols, that you're more likely to will what you want into existence, because those symbols that you used they mean something to your subconscious. You communicate with it, and that the world is your subconscious as well. So you speak more directly. It's like programming, and you're using the right keys and hot words. Then there's also calligraphy, where you write top to bottom. Then so you write right to left, top to bottom, or top to bottom, right to left. So you go this way, then this way, then this way, then this way, as you go forward. And you see it most often in animes where words are written in a line downwards. If you manifest whatever you want in that fashion, it is in a language with the correct symbols. It is like exponentially more efficient in manifesting what you want to manifest. But yeah, all right, that's yeah, I have things to do, so I'll record another video tomorrow. But yeah, all right.